So, it's official. Unfortunately, the Lamborghini Aventador is dead, and the replacement is finally here. This is the new car. It's called the Revuelto, I think. I'm not Italian, and to be honest, I don't care enough if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Point is that while the name may be weird, everything else about this new Lamborghini is awesome. To understand just how groundbreaking the new Revuelto is, we will be taking a very brief history lesson. I'm just going to focus on the V12 era under VW Audi ownership. The first car for Lamborghini under VW's new ownership was the amazing Murcielago, which followed its predecessors in ideology. Mid-engine, naturally aspirated, screaming V12. And you could tell that this was the last true Lambo, as it definitely did not handle as good as it should, but goddamn, even to this day, every angle of this car looks stunning. The phrase is overused by auto journalists today, but this car even today continues to look like a literal hellfire missile. But instead of rocket thrusters, it uses an Italian V12, the same V12 that was in the Miura. I'm not joking. Lambo used the same engine from the 60s into the 2000s. Now, you could get the Mercy with a 6-speed auto, but the one that everyone obviously wants is the ones with the 6-speed gated manual, and it shows in aftermarket prices. However, with the Germans taking over and getting their bratwurst-covered fingers on Lambo, it was only a matter of time until they let their influence bleed into the brand. When the Mercy's time was up, it was make or break for Lamborghini, but not monetarily speaking, as with the introduction of the Gallardo, Lamborghini sales were through the roof, and they were sitting in the green for the first time probably in their entire history. But I mean more on the fan base front. See, if they didn't meet expectations with this new V12 flagship supercar, they would most likely be subject to a similar situation as Jeep when they got rid of their AMC parts and tried to go more mainstream. They would lose their core fan base and risk their entire future. However, all doubters were absolutely squashed when in 2010, the Lamborghini Aventador was announced to the world, and everyone, including myself, were beyond amazed at what Lamborghini was able to do with that sweet injection of German cash. The exterior design, I know we're all used to it now, but back then, it was unlike anything anyone had ever dreamed of making, let alone making on a somewhat mass scale like these were supposed to be. I'm not even joking when I say the base Aventador is up there in terms of the greatest cars ever designed. This car came out more than a decade ago, and when you compare it to the Mercy, I would guess it was made brand new for 2023. Every single thing about it on the outside was and still is just stunning. That's not all though, as the old V12 was finally going to the big farm upstate where all the other legendary engines go, like the Ford 427 and the AMC Straight 6. And in its place was an all-new, built from scratch V12. Not all of it was good though, as unfortunately this car was never made available with a manual transmission, and the only option was a 7-speed single-clutch automatic. But that can be overlooked because you and everyone else would be too busy drooling over the exterior of the car, and too obsessed with mashing the pedal to hear that naturally aspirated V12 scream to care. The Aventador lasted a really long time, more than a decade actually, and within that time, some crazy trims like the SVJ and the J were made optional throughout its run. So again, Lamborghini was faced with an almost impossible task. How the hell on God's green earth were they ever going to one-up a car as legendary as the Aventador? Well, the cards were certainly stacked against them, as not only did they have to worry about one-upping it, but they also had to worry about doing so while complying with emission regulations. See, supercars are many things: fast, loud, fun, and amazing to stare at, but fuel efficient, that's definitely not one of them. And for the longest time, that didn't matter until now. See, now nations around the world are clamping down on auto manufacturers, and Lambo is no exception. So how the hell were they going to one-up the Aventador while also managing to comply with emission regulations all over the world? Well, they would do so with this. This is the Lamborghini Revuelto, and while we don't know everything about it, what we do know about it so far is almost mind-boggling. First off, the exterior styling, while it isn't as big of a jump as it was from the Mercy to the Aventador, it is still truly stunning. My favorite view is from the back.
That's what she said.
Because the way the exhausts are integrated into the car, it just looks literally exactly like afterburners on a fighter jet. The rear end itself looks like the best of the Scion and the Centenario have been mashed together to create this beautiful piece of artwork. The side and front quarter views look, well, they kind of look similar to the Aventador, which I definitely have mixed emotions about. As on the one hand, I just raved about how amazing the Aventador looks, so I'm not saying it looks bad because obviously it doesn't. But on the other hand, something a little more new and refreshed, in my opinion, definitely would have looked better. I understand it's a supercar, and at a certain point, they all are going to look alike. However, I feel like at least a little something could have been done to make it more unique than the Aventador. The front end though, those headlights specifically, good lord, I love how it looks. Like surrounding the lights, it just looks like a black portal into nothing. And how the edges surrounding the lights are so sharp, yet somehow they look right. Now, design aspects aside, let's get into tech and power. This new Revuelto is a hybrid, yes, but it ain't your mom's boyfriend's Prius. This car uses 3 electric motors, 2 up front and 1 in the back, that's been integrated into an 8-speed dual clutch transmission with help from a 6.5-liter V12. All of those put together make over 1 1,000 horsepower and scoot this from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Geez, that is quick. That's not all though, as the car uses a ton of active aero bits to create 66% more downforce than the previous Aventador. So it's not all just looks, this thing really does mean business. It has 13 different drive modes, yes, 13, including a drift mode, an all-electric mode, and more. The Revuelto uses a carbon fiber monofuselage that they developed in partnership with Boeing, the plane guys. So while specs aren't finalized yet, it's estimated by people much smarter than me that the new body is going to weigh 10% less than the Aventador. It also uses forged carbon fiber in a ton more places than the previous car. All of this makes the car stiffer and lighter, helping with cornering, which is good since it also has a new onboard system to help calibrate the best way to take corners by using onboard computers to see where the car's center of gravity sits. Now this new Revuelto is meant to directly compete with the Ferrari SF90, and it shows in pricing. This car is estimated to start at around 850 to 900 grand, an extremely steep increase over the likes of even the SBJ, and as stupid as it sounds, that's my biggest issue with the car. I say that as if we'll ever even be able to dream of affording one, but the point is that when the SVJ was new, it sold for around 600 to 700 grand off the showroom floor. Now obviously those prices have skyrocketed since, but that was the absolute pinnacle, top trim level Aventador, not the base model. I know splitting hairs here, as odds are no one watching this can afford one, but to have a price jump in the hundreds of thousands of dollars when there will certainly be brand new crazy performance trim levels of the Revuelto down the road, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Now I understand that this car costs Lamborghini an metric assload of money. It's the first mass-produced Lamborghini with a hybrid powertrain, and almost every square inch of the car, whether it be mechanically, technologically, design-wise, or anywhere else, is not only different than, but better than the Aventador. And that obviously costs a ton of money. However, to still jump hundreds of thousands of dollars for a base trim level, I can't see that being justified. I don't know though, but that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of it? Let me know, please. Let's talk down below. Well, after that poll, I've learned two things. One, a lot of you guys need a hug. And two, you guys want more content about things with engines on them. And it's in the pipeline. With the way I make videos, it means I tend to plan and start working on uploads a little while in advance before they're actually uploaded. So all I ask is that you guys please just remain patient. But trust me, content on cool things like NASCAR stories, Japanese sports bikes, and more are coming. I also know I have requests for other specific topics like Tesla, and those videos are being made as we speak. Anyways, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, and thank you so much for 2,500 subs. And I'm already a quarter way to 10,000 subs. It's wild. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace.